Good morning, Village School, and welcome to today's live newscast.
Your newscasters are Tegan from Asilo's class
and also Matthew from Asilo's class.
Today is Thursday, April 23rd, 2009. It is a day 4. And now for today's trivia question. Keeping with the Earth Day theme, where is the battery recycling box located in our school?
Our character education thought of the day is, give someone a sincere compliment.
And now for the weather, brought to you by WeatherBug. Today is expected to be sunny. The current temperature is 45 degrees Fahrenheit. The high is expected to be 62 degrees Fahrenheit. The low this evening will be 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Tomorrow is expected to be sunny.
There will be outdoor recess today. Today's lunch will be beef and bean nachos with peas and pineapple chunks.
At this time, please stand for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remember, Friday will be dressed like a twin day. Start thinking about your outfit.
Here is another TV fact. Young people 12 to 17 years of age increased their television viewing by 3% just this year, a pretty big increase for just 12 months.
Come out and support Lip Sync 2009 tonight and tomorrow at 6 o'clock p.m. The show is at the Montgomery Upper Middle School. Now for more of the interview with Ashley Force.
How do you deploy the parachutes after the car finishes the race?
As I come to the finish line, I reach up and I push a lever that's mounted on our Mustang body, and I push the lever forward, and that's how our chutes deploy. Now, if there's ever a problem with a run, an exploder, where it blows the burst panel, we have recently added a new safety idea where the car automatically, if that burst panel is blown, well, automatically the chutes will deploy, the fuel lever will turn off. That's in the case of an emergency, because if there's an explosion, obviously you need all that stuff off. There's no reason to not have the chutes off, to not have the fuel off. So it's just an extra precaution. Drivers are trained anyway in any emergency, any problem, to do all those things, but this new safety edition helps to make it happen quick. So, but for the most part, we usually don't have explosions, and usually right at the 1,000-foot mark, I'm getting ready and I hit my parachutes and deploy them and slow the car down and turn it off at the end of the run.
Have you ever gotten into an accident during a race?
Over the years, I've had some fires, I've had some explosions, nothing too traumatic. Probably my worst crash was in 2007 at the Seattle race. I raced Kenny Bernstein in the second round and had to pedal the car. I think he did too. We both were kind of in a pedal fest, and I got back onto the throttle too soon. I wasn't pointed straight, and I ended up spinning around backwards. I hit the wall. My Mustang body blew off of the car. It was really a crazy-looking crash, trailing around behind me as I spun. It was scary for everyone watching. It wasn't quite as bad from the inside, surprisingly, but you could see me in the video footage hitting my fuel off, doing my routine. I was aware, I knew what was happening and what I needed to do. Crashes sometimes are part of drag racing. These cars are very powerful and they're very fast, and that's part of the learning curve that you need to learn how to drive these cars, but you also need to learn what to do if you do have a problem. You need to know, no matter if there's smoke, if there's what's happening, you got to get your parachutes out, you got to hit your fuel off. You need to do the best to your ability to keep your car in your lane, and that's part of it. So I walked away from it. I was fine. I had no injuries. I had a little bit of a headache, but we were back at the next event racing again.
How did you feel when you won your first race? Do you remember who you beat?
The very first event I ever won was in my A-Field dragster. It was in 2004 at the Mac Tools U.S. Nationals, one of our biggest races of the year. I was in the final round against Shelly Howard. It was an all-female final. I won a race, and it was just an awesome day. It was such a tough race that it was this, our big race in Indy made it that much more exciting. That was my first win. My first win in the funny car came last year in 2008. It was in Atlanta, Georgia, and I raced my father, John, in the final round. And that was such a crazy day because we had rainouts all throughout the day, so it was about 11 at night when we were finally racing our final. Everybody was wet. The fans, they stuck it out, and they were still there to the end of the night. But I got my win against my dad, and it was just a great day.
Why is your car called a funny car?
I guess the original drag race cars were dragsters, and that's kind of what people got accustomed to seeing on the drag strip. They're the long, skinny rail cars. The motor sits behind the driver. There's not a body over it. That's kind of was the normal car that people were used to seeing, even though I think those are more funny looking. I think the funny cars kind of tend to resemble a normal street car a little more, but when people came out with a funny car, it just looked funny to everyone. There's the motor sits in front of the driver. It's shorter than the dragster. There's a body that comes down over it that lifts up and down. And I think that's basically how it came to be called a funny car, because it just looked different than the dragsters that people were used to seeing. But at over 300 miles an hour, there's not too much funny about it.
The correct answer to today's trivia question is the library, and the first class to answer correctly was Miss Steele. Congratulations. This is Matthew signing off.
And Tegan signing off.
Join us tomorrow for another edition of VES News. Have a thoughtful
Thursday.